right, good morning, team. So I wanted to come on and try to talk about abundance for a minute. I wanted to do that each day this week, talk about kind of a different kind of abundance, and I'm feeling anything but abundant today. I'm actually pretty annoyed. So I'm like, maybe if I come on and talk about it, I'll listen to myself or get myself to a better space. I ended up creating kind of some abundance categories that are different than finances. So often we think abundance is only money. And when we focus there, or professional success, that's all we do. And we end up having scarcity in other areas of our lives. So, or we think it's okay. I want to have it all. So one of the things I noticed when I was prioritizing professional success and financial abundance was scarcity of time. And I think I've been feeling that more the last couple of weeks, and I'm annoyed with myself for not holding stronger boundaries on, this is my job and I'm leaving. But there's also the abundance that I really want to talk about this morning, because I'm experiencing a scarcity of it right now, is mindset. And that is really a mindset of peace and clarity and appreciation. I'm looking at my notes, but I didn't add peace. I put clarity and appreciation, but mindset, really any mind that isn't focused on positivity or feeling good in the moment is having a mental health issue. And or a scarcity issue. We have so much in this life. And when we're focused on things sucking or the negative, like I could not stop focusing on some work stuff all night. I was obsessing about it. And I get so annoyed with myself. I'm like, I'm the one thinking these thoughts. I don't want to think about this anymore. Why am I still thinking about it? I'm not going to solve anything. It's not getting me anywhere. In fact, if anything, it's probably working against me with law of attraction and visualization. And so I really want to experience the abundance of just not giving a poop to a certain extent, but really it's letting go and letting God, right? Or just not worrying. So thankfully there's a reading from Emmett I opened up to that's called Why Worry? So I'm going to start with that. And it says, nothing is really worth worrying about. Beautiful concept. I need to really focus on this. Nothing is really worth getting angry or hurt or bitter about. Positively, nothing is worth losing your peace of mind over. These important truths follow logically upon the following fact. You're gonna live forever somewhere. And I feel the instant peace from that. Abraham says all the time, right? You're never gonna get it done. You can't get it wrong. Like, things are just gonna keep going. We're here to grow and learn, and this is just a temporary thing. And who cares in the grand scheme of things? It means literally nothing. It's a blip. This means that there's plenty of time to get things right again if they've gone wrong. I've experienced that. No matter what mistake you may have made, enough prayer will overtake it and cancel it. If those you love seem to be acting foolishly, you can help them with prayer to be wiser. And meanwhile, if they suffer, it means that kindly nature is teaching them a lesson that they need to learn. I've seen and experienced that. But suppose something awful should happen. Well, what then? Suppose you lost everything and landed in the poorhouse. I've experienced that too. What then? And you can get through it. I mean, I live a wonderful life now. So think what a wonderful demonstration you could make there. There it is. And you would probably learn several valuable lessons there. And anyway, it would be quite interesting. So even if something awful happens, you lose everything and land in the poorhouse, you'll make a wonderful demonstration, and we'll learn several valuable lessons. And anyway, it would be quite interesting. And I can say it was. All that is very true. Suppose the whole universe blew up, what then? When the dust settles, God will still be in business, and you will be alive somewhere, ready to carry on. Cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. Psalm 55:22. And when we put things on an eternal timeline and being an immortal being, everything, the details that seem so heavy and big do get much smaller and more manageable. And isn't that a wonderful thing? And I need to remember that. So I'm going to finish Neville's book. Or at least I Know My Father, chapter 10. So we can move on to another book. But this is a short, just page and a half, and I'm going to go ahead and read it. I feel like I need to hear it today. So it's chapter 10, Be Ears That Hear. Let these sayings sink down in your ears. For the Son of Man shall be delivered into the hands of man. Be not as those who have eyes and see not, or ears and hear not. Let these revelations sink deep into your ears, for after the Son, or the idea, is made manifest, man with his false values, or reason, will attempt to explain the why and wherefore of the Son's expression. So we're doing this constantly, and in doing so, we'll rend him to pieces. So in other words, we're always looking for why something happened after it happened. And then we determine that the cause was something other than the cause because we're examining the effects. This is a problem with dicing things up into little pieces and analyzing them. It's like genetics. So we've decided that each gene does one thing, and we're going to dice it and slice it, and we're going to fix people like robots, or we're going to design a super race or something. But that's ridiculous because we don't realize, even though a lot of genetic study has found this, that genes change based on environment. Why is that? Because they are a form of consciousness. They have consciousness, and they're directed by the consciousness in the body they're in. That's why you could have several identical twins raised in the exact same environment, exact same genetic code, completely different life experiences, interests. They even will start to look different as life goes on. So we're always studying, even if there's a disease, think about it. If they say there's a 4% survival rate, generally we're studying the biology of the 96% who succumbed, not the 4% who survived. And that has to do with the psychology or consciousness of the being directing the physical, the biology. The biology is not supreme. It's not God. It's actually kind of a dead thing that we are directing. Consciousness is directing. But we have it that that's like the God. That's the fact. And consciousness and feelings and emotion and mind are kind of woo-woo. We have it backwards because it is the mind and emotion that's directing the biology. And that's when everything starts to make sense. You can't design a human race. You can't get hold or control the genetic code because it reacts. It's there to respond to us. And so on the one hand, that provides us a lot of protection. On the other hand, it's a lot of wasted research money. But what he's saying here is when something amazing happens, like the 4% survival rate of a disease, reason will attempt to explain the why and so rend it to pieces. So we take all the magic out of it. We don't give any credit. We just go, oh, well, this is because of that, or we just don't understand it, but it's in the biology. We make science Lord, but we haven't noticed that science is it's like philosophy. It's always developing. It's fashionable. What's in right now in science. And we don't realize that science and God go together. This idea of creation and biology, the spiritual, the mental, the emotional, and the physical have an entwined relationship. And then it makes so much more sense, but we just don't quite come at it from that lens. After men have agreed that a certain thing is impossible to do, let someone accomplish the impossible thing. And all, including the wise ones who said it couldn't be done, will begin to tell you why it happened, right? They'll say you can't do it, then you do it, and then they're like, oh, let me explain how they did. And we look at the after effect, how it was actually accomplished, rather than realizing it was the belief that it could be that made it happen. After they are all through tearing the seamless robe, or the cause of manifestation, apart, they will be as far from the truth as they were when they proclaimed it impossible. As long as man looks for the cause of expression in places other than the expressor, he looks in vain. For thousands of mere years, man has been told, I am the life and light of the world. No manifestation cometh unto me, save I draw it. But man will not believe it. So here we've been told again and again, like law of attraction, you create your reality, you're attracting everything to you. Consciousness, I am, is the supreme. We just won't believe it. We want to blame everything. We want to put the power outside ourselves and blame everything else and give our power away. Like our victim consciousness is at a very deep level, our desire to be powerless. But man will not believe it. He prefers to believe, here we go, and causes outside of himself. The moment that which was not seen becomes seen, man is ready to explain the cause and purpose of its appearance. Thus the Son of Man, or the ideas of manifestation, is constantly being destroyed by the hands, reasonable explanation, or wisdom of man. Now that your awareness is revealed to you as cause of all expression, do not return to the darkness of Egypt with its many gods. There is but one God. And that just means making everything into an idol, right? My disease is an idol, my body, my genetics are an idol, my family, like anyone who's my job for me, like this is upsetting me, it has power over me. No, I'm attracting and creating this. This is so good for me to remember. There is but one God. The one God is your awareness. And all of the inhabitants of the earth, this is a quote, are reputed as nothing And he doeth according to his will in the army of heaven and among the inhabitants of the earth. And none can stay his hand or say unto him, Who doest thou? Who dost thou? Doest thou? If the whole world should agree that a thing could not be done, and you became aware of being that which they agreed upon could not be expressed, you would express it. Your awareness never asks permission to express that which you are aware of being. It does so naturally and without effort, in spite of the wisdom of man and the opposition of the armies of both heaven and earth. Salute no man, by the way, is not a command to be insolent or unfriendly, but a reminder not to recognize as superior, nor to see in anyone a barrier to your expression. For none can stay your hand or question your ability to express that which you are conscious of being. Do not judge after the appearances of a thing, for all are as nothing in the eyes of God. And right now I'm judging on the appearances of just someone being disrespectful and almost being rewarded for it by my leader rather than held accountable. And so I just have to ignore it. When the disciples, through their judgment of appearances, saw the insane child, they thought it a more difficult problem to solve than others they had seen, and so failed to achieve a cure. In judging after appearances, they forgot that all things were possible to God. Hypnotized as they were to the reality of appearances, they could not feel the naturalness of sanity. The only way for you to avoid such failures is to constantly bear in mind that your awareness is the almighty, all-wise presence, who without help effortlessly outpictures that which you're aware of being. Be perfectly indifferent to the evidence of the senses so that you may feel the naturalness of your desire, and your desire will be realized. And how perfect is that for us this week as we go into our focus of Thanksgiving and abundance. And it's so easy to feel scarce at this time, whether we don't have money or family or friends or time or whatever it is, that we need to remember exactly what this is saying. Be indifferent to the evidence of the senses and what we're looking at. We may feel the naturalness of my desire to be abundant and to have everything that I want, and it'll be realized. Turn from appearances and feel the naturalness of perfect sanity, and sanity will embody itself. I've been feeling that, like this is insane. So this is perfect for me in the sense of saying, we see a lot of insanity all over the place, and we can look at it and we can make it really powerful. It turns it into an idol and worships it. It doesn't matter our basic opinions. It's just about realizing that the peace is within me, sanity is within me, and it's going to be revealed. I don't need to know the where, how, what. As the desire is realized, the problem, your desire is the solution of your problem. As the desire is realized, the problem is dissolved. Your desires are the invisible realities which respond only to the commands of God. God commands the invisible to appear by claiming himself to be the thing commanded. See, God isn't like a dude in the sky. It's almost like a force, like the Tao. It's like the power that creates worlds. That's what Abraham is really talking about. It's something we direct that becomes whatever we want it to be. But we have to be careful, because even if we don't want something, if we're focusing on it, we're creating that. He made himself equal with God, this is a quote, and found it not robbery to do the works of God. Now let this saying sink deep into your ear. Be conscious of being that which you want to appear. That's amazing. Be conscious of being that which you want to appear. I needed that. I hope it serves you too. Let's go out into the world and make some magic happen. I'll talk to you soon. Let's kick up for Thanksgiving. Happy abundance.